We're going to get going here with today's Business Builder webinar, 4 Steps to Massive Real Estate Commissions. So excited to have Steve Herron with us again today to talk about, 4 things that we can do right away to impact our business today. And I know from going through the slides with Steve ahead of time, we have a lot of ground to cover. So that's the other reason to start on time. And we're going to need to fly through it. And just giving you the heads up. These concepts, there's a lot of stuff that's here, and you're going to want to take notes and you're going to take action based on some of these items, because he's going to call it out, but then he's going to say, hey, you need to go do this to go follow up and take that a little further. So don't want to steal your thunder, Steve, but
not at all.
Thank you for joining us. Thank you to Homes.com for having you involved with us again. Homes.com, one of our marketplace sponsors. If you go into your Real Smart Agent panel, down at the bottom on the left-hand side of your navigation bar, it says Marketplace. That's your agent marketplace filled with resources and tools to help you grow your real estate business. Homes.com is in there and has several of the items that Steve's going to talk about today, as well as just general tactics in general, 4 steps to massive real estate commissions. So Steve, I'm going to stop my share. I'm going to turn over the controls to you, but thank you for joining us today.
Todd, thank you. And HomeSmart, thank you. And thank everybody that's on the webinar today. Hopefully everybody can see my screen. Todd, are you seeing the 4 steps to massive?
We are. We're seeing your screen, and we got your bright orange background back there. I like it.
Yep. Yeah. All kinds of fun stuff going on. Got to keep that brand going, right?
You got it.
And we're going to talk about that a little bit, how important that is today. So I also want to make sure everybody understands that you can put things in the chat and use the chat mechanism that is in there. If you haven't got it opened up, it's across the bottom. Just make sure you open that up, use your chat function. We've got a couple of people monitoring the chat so that we can answer some questions. I know Todd answers some questions while things are going. We're going to fly through this really, really quick, and there will be a couple of times where I'll ask you to put in some answers. Want to make sure we keep everybody awake and moving, and also make sure that everything's making sense to you guys along the way. We'll do our best to do maybe some Q&A while we're going along, but there's so much to get crammed in here. I don't know that we're going to be able to get to do much of it. I do want to make sure that you guys know that, that Homes.com is set up for you guys. We're a strong partner with HomeSmart. We're proud of that fact. In fact, we've even, HomeSmart has the place for you guys to go. We've even set up a website just for you guys. That's at marketing.homes.com/HomeSmart. And you can also call. We've dedicated a line to you guys. So
yeah, and just so everyone knows, there's free items in there, and all kinds of other resources that are in there on that page, marketing.homes.com/HomeSmart.
Yep, and it's all branded for you guys. It's all put together for you guys. Lots of great information. There'll be some stuff about the things that we're going over today, and then there's also opportunities to reach out and get some extra info if you're interested in learning more about what we do. I'm going to be going over stuff and then also offering you guys some specials on some different products that can help with these different 4 steps, and we'll be going through that as the day goes on. A little bit about me, so you know that they didn't just pick me up in a van down by the river, even though that is what they did. I've been actually doing the whole social media thing since back when MySpace was a thing, and I was actually teaching agents and brokers how to manage that. And from the get-go of the whole website and SEO side of things, I was also very ingrained in that. So I've been doing this for a long time. I am a licensed realtor, so it is something that I do practice very, very limited part-time, just so I can make sure that I'm up to snuff with what you guys are doing. And I've also created, about 15 years ago, created something called Celtic Branding that we're going to talk about as part of your process today, something to help simplify things for you. All right, so what are we going to do? We're going to understand and properly implement the overall 4-step marketing structure that you should be using. The importance of a website is number 1 on that, and what to look for in a provider. And that website is something that's going to be standalone. The structure of a healthy social media presence. Some of you that may have gone through my social media class back in early spring, some of that will be a refresher, but some of it's new. Things change all the time. What is SEO? Why it's important to you at this point in time is another biggie that we got to go through, and then we'll have a huge special offer for you guys at the end of this. So I want to start with the introduction to the Celtic method. and how this is supposed to fit. What I realized about 10 years ago was, actually it's probably even longer than that, is that there were a lot of confusion about what to do, when to do it, how it all fits together, all of this different marketing stuff, when all this digital stuff started really playing a part. And I thought, wow, let me put something together, a visual that makes it easy to understand how these pieces should all be incorporated in what you're doing. And it creates 4 different segments that you've got to have something in when you've got a complete digital footprint put together. And that's where this Celtic circle came from. And the fact that you've got inbound marketing, outbound marketing, social marketing, and all of that is tied to a core of a website that's mobile friendly. For those of you that don't know what those are, outbound is that outreach. I've got the stuff listed here so you can actually see some of the stuff that would fall under that, but telling people who you are. Inbound is making sure you're being found when they're on their way in and they've realized that there's a problem. The social, a lot of people understand Facebook and Google My Business and LinkedIn and all that stuff, but what you don't remember or don't figure into your social side is your reputation management. And then all of those business listing sites. It's actually a big piece of the social media side of things. It's also a big piece of the SEO. And we're going to break these down. But one of the issues that comes up when I start talking to people about this is, what order do I do this in? Because if I try to do everything that's in that circle, Steve, I'm going to spend thousands of dollars a month and I have no idea where to go with it. And I don't have $10,000 around laying around. I'm not Warren Buffett. I'm not even Jimmy Buffett. So I can't do this, and I need to understand what order to put it in. And that's when I came up with Marketing Directional Intention. And basically what this is understanding the funnel that everybody goes through. And you've seen this 1,000 different ways when they're making a decision, right? Awareness, research, search for providers, making a decision. But the problem we have is that we've all been taught as agents and as small business owners that we need to make sure that we create brand awareness. And then we don't have the money to make sure that we appear as they're getting closer to their decision. Digital has made it easy for us to be there, closer to the decision making. And what that created was this opportunity to start your marketing there. If you're strong there, you can build your way up and create ROI and let each level pay for the next level. And that's how you build on your marketing. It works really well. So this created 4 primary steps that you want to look at. And we're going to break these down as they fit in the funnel. And you start to see this correlation. So the funnel allows us to understand what order to do this in. You're working your marketing from the bottom up so that your budget doesn't kill you. But at the end of it, you should have this full Celtic circle, this circle of all of these things, something happening in each one of those. And you can almost see this as looking down the funnel instead of the funnel from the side, and how each one of those components is an equal situation and they all have to play a part in your marketing. But it creates this 1, 2, 3, 4 website, the social media that's got to play in place, Google My Business and a full SEO strategy, and Facebook ads for outbound. And one of the things you're going to find out as we go through this is that, believe it or not, social media helps us with 3 of these if you want to start light. So let's start with step 1, website that's mobile first, not just mobile friendly. And I know it says friendly in there, but this key for Google is that it's got to be mobile first. 87% of the traffic coming to the internet at this point, and which mirrors everything everybody else is saying. Facebook says its traffic's the same way, Google's the same way, all coming on mobile devices. So that's why it's got to be mobile first. That day is probably coming where it's going to be mobile only. So it'll be interesting to see when that happens. But that's what you got to do. In fact, your independent website should be the #1 generator of leads for your business. That's just a compilation of statements made by thousands of different marketing experts and people who have had success in real estate. That is how this should go. You should be fully independent in that situation. Short of the referrals, that should be your #1 thing. And the reason that should happen is because 66% of buyers are extensively researching you online. And what's happening is just a teeny tiny portion of you are actually showing up the way that you should. Half of all home buyers start their online search 6 to 12 months prior to making a purchase. We all probably also know the statistic that it's 18 months before, as an average, once they start and they actually pull the trigger and do something. So wouldn't it be better if during that 18 months, during that 6 to 12 months, they were coming to your site and not a bunch of other ones? And your site has that capability. The key is you've got to have one, and you've got to have one that's separate, that has some certain components. The other thing you have to keep in mind is that 90% of people move between devices to accomplish any goal, including finding a house. So your website is something that's got to be able to morph and change and move and fit the different screens that they're going to be on. Give them one thing that shows up all the time in all the different places and does it properly and is easy to use, right? It's less about, is it really flashy and funky and awesome to look at? And it's more about, does it work? Does it do what I need it to do? And does it load up fast enough and perform? So you need a website that's going to do that, that's going to sit across all of those different platforms and fit properly. So something you definitely want to look for when you're deciding on who to use. In fact, here's a quick list: responsive design. That's what's going to make that move from one thing to another work for you. Have nice, easy, simple IDX search capabilities. Large photos, easy to index for Google, so it's easy to find. Links to social networks, preset featured searches. This is a screen you can take a picture of. These are the things when you're trying to find somebody that is going to use as a partner to have your website or build your website with. These are the things that you want to make sure that you have capability to do. Homes.com's Fusion website is actually one of those. I'm going to show you real quick. Our websites are designed to have as many pages as you want, but it comes with a certain number of pages so that we make sure things are in there the right way. You've got a home page that offers quick, easy to find search, and no matter where you are. Search results are coming in with large photos, large capabilities. You can also do maps on the mobile version, and they can draw the stuff around, all of those features that you're used to in like more higher end type websites. The listing details. I love the way that our individual agent websites show the photos better than what I've seen on almost every platform. I think they do a phenomenal job, and it looks really nice, and it's really easy to get through even on a phone. And then we also have other tools like home values, things like that they can actually go in and play around with, and they can actually set up accounts with you on that website. So again, covering a lot of the stuff that you want to look for in a website provider, but it's one of the things that we really focused on. Since it's one of our expertises, we might as well get it done right and do it for you. And that's where that comes in. Before I move on, I am kind of curious, if you would, let's test this thing out on the chat side. I'm kind of curious how many of you have standalone websites that belong to you, that you've got through somebody else. Just type website in the chat if you have a standalone website of your own already. Just type that in, website, just type it in the chat if you have a website of your own already. Good, we're getting some answers. I want to make sure this is working, everybody can hear me and it's all going well. All right, we've got a few. Yeah, just type in website. Good, nice. Yeah, we got quite a few. That's good to see, really good to see. All right, so a lot of people are on the right track. A lot of people have step one in place, and that's awesome. If you don't, obviously, you can reach out to homes.com and get something put together. The other thing that we put on our websites, I forgot about this part, is that we've got this cool thing called a social wall that actually will take the posts from your Twitter account, your Facebook account, and I think they even tie in LinkedIn now, and it actually shows on the homepage of your website. So any new listing, any post you put on any of those platforms will actually show up on the homepage. Google likes that, and anybody coming to the website's homepage is going to love that too. So if you decide to go with a website with us, one of the other cool things is that we're not super expensive, $69.95 a month, one-time setup fee of $99.95. So you can call that number. You can go to the resource. We're also going to have some ability for you to text a number. And all of this stuff is set up just for you guys. So if you're interested in that, make sure you reach out to us. Step two, like I said, we're going to be flying through this, and so hopefully you're holding on to your belts here.
Hey, I have a question back on that one real quick. Is that a national home search, by the way, on that site, or is that just your local IDX only?
It's your local MLS only.
Gotcha.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
All right.
So then it's a great question. I'm glad you brought that up. All right, social with reputation and directory management. This all has to play. It's one of those big slices of the pie. Let's go ahead and dig into that. So what's the structure of a healthy social presence? All right, step one, create a single, consistent, branded look to use across all platforms. The vast majority of us are not doing this. We've got all kinds of stuff scattered all over the place. Also, I'm seeing very often, I'm seeing Facebook pages, and we're not even branding properly on our cover photos on our Facebook pages. So make sure that you've got your Facebook cover photos meeting all of the requirements for branding. All right, it can't just be a big picture. That is considered advertising. You have to meet the requirements for. Step one, the single most important, claim, optimize, and start posting multiple times a week to your Google My Business profile. Step two, create your Facebook page. We're going to talk about these two in detail here in a minute, but you got to make sure that these two are in place. In fact, in most cases, or not most, in a lot of cases, these two things, when done properly, can be the only thing that you need. And that's another thing I want to stress. Social media platforms, the number of them that you do should only be enough to do the business that, or create the business opportunities that you need. To just be on social media to be there makes no sense. You're a business owner. That's how you want to think about this. And you need to do just enough to make sure that you're getting business from it. And a lot of people will get enough business from these two when they're done properly. Find a reputation and directory manager and manage that every day. It needs to be something you do each morning. Claim and optimize your YouTube after those things are done. And by the way, I'm doing this in order of importance and when you should layer these things in. Your YouTube channel becomes huge. It's the #3 most visited website in the world. It's the #2 search engine in the world, and it's owned by the #1 in both categories. So it makes sense that you're there, and video is 82, 83% right now, and the number is growing of all internet consumption. It just drives that importance of why it's got to be there. LinkedIn, make sure that's claimed, optimized, start posting weekly to that. Then, if you have time, Twitter, then Instagram, right? In fact, if you get to where you're trying to manage all of these in one place or at one time, I will tell you there's a couple of great tools that you can use out there to help you with this. One is Ripple, and we'll actually post to all of those platforms and multiple Facebook platforms, multiple Twitters, all of that with one click. So you can actually create one post, put it out there, and it's a video post, so it's really cool. And then Canva is another one that I would suggest getting. They both have apps and online websites that you can use.
All right, so hang on, Steve. I got a couple things to add here real quick. Claim and optimize your first one, post weekly. One of the things I really want to encourage the whole audience to do is the time block, 15 minutes or a half an hour every morning or in the afternoon, right after lunch. And basically you need to put a time on your calendar where you're going to go post and you're going to engage. And it's a way, if you do that on your calendar 7 days in a row, you should have activity 7 days in a row then, if you block out that time. So love that the YouTube video. The thing, I read a study recently about how years ago we used to Google how to replace a valve in your in the toilet, or how to replace a valve in a sink. And now people go to YouTube and they type that in. They aren't going to Google, and they watch a video. And so the younger generation, especially, they go to YouTube and they YouTube everything. How do I find a real estate? What's going on with interest rates? They want to watch a video. So YouTube is so huge right there in the middle. I'm glad you posted that. Canva, we have a webinar coming up any day with Canva, who's going to teach all of you how to use Canva to create all of these free graphics to use then on all the things Steve's telling you. One thing I want you to do is go sign up for the Canva newsletter. They give you an email once a week or every couple of days, and it says, hey, what are the #1 most popular Instagram formats or backgrounds? And then you click on it and it takes you right to them, and then you can create them. And it's just a way to feed everything Steve's talking about. So I don't want to interrupt you. I know you're tight on time.
No, that's great. I'm glad. Anytime you've got some extra to add to that, I want you to do that. And I'm going to add one more thing. And Todd's heard this about me. I am so cheap. And these are two, Ripple and Canva are two that I pay for the pro versions. So I have little pre thing for Canva. I'm not assigned. I don't work for them. I have no attachment to them. Right. But I pay for those two. And
it's well worth the $9 a month. Right?
Oh my God. Yeah. But and Ripple, I think, is 17. So, I mean, between the two, you're less than $30 a month. Right. It's insane. So definitely highly recommend.
Someone typed a question. Did you say YouTube and Google My Business page are the top social media sites to post on? I thought I heard you say Google My Business page #1 and Facebook #2. YouTube is #3.
Yes. And in fact, as far as order of importance in what you want to make sure that you do, Google My Business and getting that claimed and optimized is #1, right? And then you want to have a posting strategy. In fact, if you did nothing but that, you would see an increase in your business. And I'm going to explain why here in a minute. And then Facebook is #2. If you get to YouTube, phenomenal. I would highly suggest you get there. but you can do video through Google My Business and through Facebook. So, and accomplish a lot of great goals with video there. But at some point, YouTube's going to make sense to you. But no, number one is Google. Number two is Facebook, and Google because of a couple of reasons we're going to get into specifically. So hopefully that answered that. All right. So Google My Business, claim, optimize, post a couple of times a week. Nearly 90% of all searches happen on a mobile device on Google. What happens on those searches, you guys have probably noticed this, is at the top of that search is a map listing, right? It's got a map like what you see here, and then it's got, Google shows its top 3 favorite companies to show there, and then people can hit the more places and see more of a map. It opens up the maps completely. Why is this so important? Well, first of all, it's a way for you to kind of cheat your way to page 1 on Google, because this does not require a website. What it requires is that you make sure that your profile on Google, your business profile on Google is up to date, that you're posting to it, that you're getting reviews to it, that your business directories all over the internet are clear. When you're doing all of that, you're going to stay at the top of this list. And I'm going to tell you that even as often as I've been telling people to do this, there's still a very minute number of agents doing this the right way. It's going to be easy for you to capture and maintain top position in that map situation when you do this the right way. The other thing that's important about this is when you start showing up there, there's a phenomenon that's been growing over the last year and a half on Google called no-click search results. What this means is people going to Google and doing these searches are clicking into the maps, clicking on one of the clients or one of the customers, or I'm sorry, companies in there, and deciding from all of the information they're getting from that profile to go ahead and contact them for their business. Real estate is no exception to this. The real estate agents and brokers that are taking advantage of this are getting that kind of business. If you're not doing it, you're missing out on a huge chunk of business. And when you think about how half of the searches on Google on mobile are turning into that, not going to anything else, that's huge. That's an untapped resource for you. All right. So make sure that you do that. Make sure you get this claimed. Make sure you're on it. What Todd said, devote that time in the morning or the afternoon and make sure it's being done. All right. So it's just way too important. Facebook page. Why is this so important? Well, and we're going to talk about something that's really, really critical that I know people are still doing that they got to stop doing. But 60% of consumers will visit your Facebook page before visiting your website. They're determining from your Facebook page and the authenticity and credibility of you from your Facebook page whether or not to consider you as an agent. If you're not doing it the right way, if it's not clear, if you're not credible and authentic, they don't go any further. They decide, I'm not working with this agent from your Facebook page. 60% of all consumers, not Facebook visitors, all consumers. So now you're seeing statistics between what's happening with half the people on Google on mobile and what's happening with more than half of the people, consumers in general, and how it's tied to Facebook and how those two things become so critical to your business. Without them and without them being done right, your business is never going to hit the levels and goals that you're going to want to hit with those. Profile versus a page. This is critical to everybody because I know there's confusion about this. Your profile on Facebook is the thing that you get that you have friends attached to. That is your profile. Everybody who opens up a Facebook account, that's what you have. In fact, if you have a Facebook account, just do me a favor, in chat, type FB. If you have an account, not a page, do you have a Facebook account? Just type in FB. FB if you have a Facebook account. All right. I'm expecting everybody, right? I should be seeing just rows of FBs, right? Now, here's the fun part is how many of you have a Facebook page? And wait till you answer this. All right. A Facebook page is something you create separate of this. It's for your business. It's not got friends assigned to it. It has likes. That's one of the ways you tell the difference. Okay. So how many of you have put together a Facebook page? Just type in page if you've done page. Just type page.
Okay.
All right, good. We're getting lots of pages. That's awesome. And hopefully some of you did that because of the last class I did, right, Todd?
Yeah, exactly.
So the difference here is your profile has a long list of terms and conditions. And I'm sure everybody read those terms and conditions before they said yes and signed up for Facebook, right? But in there are 3 different spots where Facebook makes it clear you are not supposed to be using your profile where your friends are to promote business. And I'm going to guarantee you that a large portion of the people on the call right now are doing real estate related posts to their friends. You have to stop. Facebook is going to find you. It's not an if anymore, it's a when, and they will shut you down without notice. You cannot keep doing this. You need to move all of that to Facebook, to your Facebook pages. For those of you that don't have a page, make sure you get a page created. But stop doing this where you're posting business stuff on your profile. You can't do it anymore. You're going to get shut down, and it happens without notice. I've had hundreds of agents have this happen to them over the last couple of years, thinking it wasn't going to happen to them, and they lose everything. Your email address and your phone number get blacklisted. You can never use them again on Facebook. It's not worth it. So on the Facebook page, the other thing that's happened is that organic reach has been cut to nothing. And it used to be that you could use organic reach to create some audience opportunities and then create leads from that. Not happening anymore. That algorithm has just gotten to the point where they've cut it, and even the 6% is an old number. It's down to around 3%. You've probably noticed this, those of you that are using your Facebook pages, that your reach has gone from thousands to hundreds to single and double digits now, just over the last year. So you've got to find other ways to get people to your Facebook page, but you got to get them there, and that's where the advertising comes in. That's the bad news, is you got to pay for it nowadays. But the good news is that it's inexpensive and highly effective to do that through Facebook. But what you have to do is make sure that your posting is happening in such a way that you're creating two things: credibility and authenticity. The first, credibility, we do a lot of, all about the industry, all about real estate, about our listings, about what to do with your house, about, hey, do you like this kitchen or that kitchen, right? We do a lot of that. What we aren't doing enough of is the authenticity posting, which is your interactions with your community. We keep posting that to our personal side. Start posting that to your business side. Take videos when you're out and about doing things, when you're at the park, when you're visiting other retailers and businesses in the area. And then also follow those Facebook pages for those companies, the locally owned ones, and share their content onto your Facebook page, not your profile, right?
So Steve, how do you marry the two? Maria wants to know, when people do a Facebook search, they go to my personal page, not my business page.
Actually, that's because your Facebook page is not being done properly. Your Facebook personal should not be showing up in search above your Facebook page if your Facebook page has been optimized the right way.
Okay.
And if they're coming to your personal should be locked down like Fort Knox. They do not want to engage. That 60% is not looking for a Facebook profile. They're looking for Facebook business pages. And you can't, you shouldn't be letting people into your life. I had a call last week with an agent who was doing a lot of this, and her Facebook page, her Facebook profile was open because she was doing business on it. I got to tell her daughter's name, how old she was, what school she went to. I got to tell her her sister's name, her in-laws' names. I got to tell her who she voted for, most likely in the last election. I got to tell her what religion she was. I got to tell her her point of view on guns. I got to tell her all of this stuff because she had it open, because she wants people to come there. You can't do that. You do not. The last thing you want to do is walk up to somebody and say, hi, I'm Steve Herron. I'm a realtor, and I voted for Hillary Trump in the last election, and I go to the Catholic Jewish synagogue down the street. We don't do that, right? That stuff's not going to help our business at all. In fact, in some cases, especially in the current climate, it can make it worse. So don't do that. You've got to lock that down. Put all those security in places so that they can't see anything. And Google will notice you've done that, and your Facebook personal site will quit showing up so much. Cool?
Okay.
All right, cool. All right. I know that was a lot, right?
Yeah. So, and someone wants to know, could you provide a couple examples of Facebook business pages that you like that are doing things right? I know you're going to get to some of that. So
I won't necessarily show you any, but I will be happy if you contact us in any of the forms that we've got on the slides and all that, and you want to set up some time to go over some of this in more detail, I would be happy to do that. So anybody that's interested in that, either use the 866 number. We're going to have a couple of slides that are going to show you that you can type the word social to 484848. That's another way you can reach out to us, or go to the resource page that you're going to see, like on the next slide down in the right-hand corner. If you notice, all of these slides either have the resource page of ours or the 866 number. And like I said, you can also text social to 484848, and we'll reach out and we'll talk to you about what's going on. But
one of the things that agents can do is they can inexpensively now do these highly targeted ads, right?
Oh,
so
yeah.
This is an ad for, say, a listing or something like that. Is that right?
It could be for anything. It could be for lead generation. It could be for a listing. It can be brand awareness. It's only limited by what you need. That really is the truth of the matter when it comes to these highly targeted ads on Facebook. There are even retargeting opportunities if you really wanted to get into it, but just at the basics to be able to get an ad out and do it the right way. Because here's the next thing that I'm going to talk about is Facebook ads and a post versus an ad. And what I want to make sure everybody understands is that there's no such thing as posting an ad. A post lives on the Facebook page. It's there for the audience of the page, the incoming audience of the page. That's what a post, and a post will never cost you money. An ad is something that is done completely separate of your page, will not show up, or typically won't show up on your page. You won't see it in action, and it's being sent out to a targeted audience that you and Facebook work together to create. And an ad will always cost you money. There are actually 3 ways for you to advertise on Facebook. In fact, one of them, I'm willing to bet almost everybody on this call has done. Let's see, let's ask. How many of you have boosted a post? Just type in boost. If you've ever boosted a post on Facebook, just type the word boost in there. Yeah, B-O-O-S-T. Yeah, if you've ever boosted a post. And this I'm used to. I'm used to seeing tons of people because it's easy. Right. I put this here and then Facebook tells me, hey, reach 500 million people with $10, right? I'm going to tell you after today, you'll never boost a post again. In fact, what you should do is the 3rd way. Like I said, there are 3 ways to do this. There's a 2nd way, actually has to do with your ad center. This is attached to your Facebook page. Now, this is an older layout, and I know the newer layouts, they're kind of in transition right now as to who's got which. It's either up in the left-hand corner or it's down the left-hand side, but it says ad center from your page. If you've ever done that, I applaud you because at least you took a step further and it's got a little more capability. But going forward, that's not the way you're going to want to advertise on Facebook. True, proper Facebook advertising starts here, business.facebook.com. This is your business manager. This is the start of creation of your business manager on Facebook. Not only can you do the advertising here, but you can manage your entire business existence, and you can bookmark this so that there's no confusion as to whether you're in your personal side or your business side. And this allows you to keep that separation the way it should be and lock down your personal side. Only log into that when you're wanting to do things with your friends, and then come into your business manager when you're doing anything business related, including posting, advertising, everything. So all your analytics are here. All of that is here. So if you've done this, great. If you've gone through the 5 steps and set this up, awesome. If you haven't, go to business.facebook.com and get that set up. They're just going to ask you 5 or 6 questions, and then all of a sudden it's going to be there. And you'll see a dashboard. It kind of looks like this, and you'll also be able to bookmark it. Once you get there, to get to the advertising side of this, up in the left-hand corner, or now it's on the left-hand side in the newer version. In the older version, you have to actually click on Business Manager. You'll see this open up, and you'll see the Ads Manager, and then that'll take you to something that has the tabs across the top, a green Create button to start your advertising. And hopefully, a lot of you were on my class back in spring because we went through actually creating an ad from start to finish. And there's a lot to that. And I'm going to give you an opportunity to actually enroll in a class later on that you can learn how to do that advertising as well. But that's the way to do that. On the newer version, the ad manager just sits on the link for it, sits on the left-hand side. It's real easy to find, but you end up in the same place. So that's where you want to run your advertising. Advertising on Facebook has 3 primary segments to it. It's got a campaign, an ad set, an ad. When you do, when you do advertising this way, you're going to have control on all 3 segments. When you've done it the other ways, you had no control over those things. You were putting it in Facebook's hands, and Facebook, in those cases, ends up making you spend more money than you need to. Running your ads this way are going to be more highly effective, get a stronger ROI, and you'll have to spend less to make it happen. So really, really good that you go that way.
So more important than budget is running the ads the right way, right?
Absolutely.
Okay, so but you do need some sort of a budget. Do you, absolutely, in your experience, does budget correlated to gross commission income? I'm asking.
Well, sure. Somebody that's spending $150 a month on Facebook lead generation ads, maybe seeing 50 leads a month, and out of 50 leads a month, depending on their conversion ratio, if they're at 10%, that's 5 new clients a month, they're spending $150 on. And so there are other factors. Your conversion percentage is one of the things that has a factor in that. The same person, another person who's got more of a 40% conversion ratio, which I've seen, that person is quadrupling the income, but not spending any more money, right? So, But
But
if
just
you're,
say, but putting it in terms of for the audience here, let's just say $7,000 is an average commission around a 200 and I don't know, $40,000 home or something like that. Maybe better, higher or lower in different areas of the country, but let's just say that. So $7,000, one transaction, a month, that's, 85,000, in GCI or something like that.
yeah.
So if you're running a consistent ad budget, do you see that type of ROI that you can track back to that, like consistently with a transaction a month or something like that?
Sure. In fact, again, if you guys want a little bit more, because I know Todd saw this in the first. We actually had a little thing. I created a little thing. It's real easy to do to figure out what your reach is, depending and the number of expected clicks, because Facebook gives you those numbers, and what the budget would be to get those clicks, and then what your conversion ratio would be, and then you get to figure out what the impact is to your income.
Right.
And I can work with you on that to try to figure that out and what those budgets are. But I will tell you this, to use your example, $100 to $200 a month would probably do more than what you just talked about and have that kind of an impact on your income.
Right.
So that's what I mean by that ROI, is that it's insane. It's through the roof. And again, reach out to us. And if you want a more in-depth look at that, we can definitely talk about that and help understand how to set budgets. That's what that ads part of the classes that we do is about, is to help with some of that. So
yeah,
I'm glad you brought that up, because
you can help, and you can help people do that that are on the call. And for those of you that want to go watch the for webinar number 1, we recorded it previously. It's at homesmart.com/business-builder. You can go back, but I encourage you just to reach out, because the team's here to help you, teach you how to fish, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we don't give you the fish, but we definitely teach you how.
All right.
All right, so our homes.com social fuel package. Let's talk about this for just a minute, because I want to go through there. You're going to learn a couple of things from this as well. But the stuff that we do for you from a social media standpoint, one of the things I really like about it is that it affects all 3 of the outer rings. So there's very few things that you can do, or very few partners you can find that are engaged this way that help with all of those outer rings. And what do? So we start with platform creation and servicing. So we work on Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, Google My Business, and YouTube. We get you the consistent branded look. We have people on staff, graphic designers, to help with that. We start posting to Facebook, LinkedIn, and Instagram on your behalf every week. Google My Business and YouTube, we're going to help you get those set up. On YouTube, we can get that set up. Google My Business, you have to be involved, because there's a process to go through. But we definitely help you with those. YouTube and Google My Business do not play well with third-party vendors, so we're there to guide you on posting to that and putting it together the right way. But it's really something that you have to do at the end of the day. The other 3 will post, and our posting is done. It's not one of those things where it's a set it and forget it sort of thing. We're going to be monitoring that and making sure that we're hitting the sweet spots on the right days and times. So it's a constant evolving thing that's always trying to work to your benefit. We also incorporate advertising. The advertising that we do is designed to build brand awareness, help create an opportunity for you to have a base of awareness and advertising that's happening, that when you do something on top of that to do some like real heavy lead generation, that you don't have to start with that brand building site. We're doing it for you. There are 3 campaigns we do. There's a brand awareness ad. This actually helps drive people to your Facebook page. There's a website click-through ad. That's pretty self-explanatory. And then a promoted post. This is not boosted posts. It's done very differently, and it's targeted very differently, and works much more effectively. But these 3 campaigns together create a phenomenal brand awareness base in your market that make your other advertising that much more effective. And that's the whole goal. We include a reputation directory management tool. So this is something that I tell people you spend a half an hour with every morning. This helps you with that Google My Business. You make it all part of that, but you're going to understand where you're going to be able to see how you're ranking on the maps, but you're also going to be able to go to all of the different places that you might be listed as a business and places that you're not and should be, and go in and fix those and make those correct and make them match exactly. We're also going to do review tracking and alert you when somebody reviews you, so you can go through and answer those. There's social media and website tracking, so that you can actually see if somebody says something about you online, this thing's going to let you know about it, and you're going to be able to, in most cases, go through and engage the way that you should be. And not only will we let you do this for yourself, but for 5 of your competitors. So you can see how you're working against the top 5 people in that market. So really, really strong tool. I can't overplay the importance of a tool like this and what it can do for your business. We also include dashboard CRM capabilities. I know a lot of you are set up with those things already. And of course, we make sure that there's all kinds of reporting. In fact, my suggestion is that you get with somebody on the team, either the liaison that's appointed to you or the person who originally sold you the package, and go over your monthly reporting. You're gonna have reporting about your Facebook page and about all of the advertising that's going out there. And then on top of that, we inundate you with support so you can learn anything you want. You can tap into the knowledge of the team on any platform. There's newsletters that come out to you on a monthly basis. There's videos and PDFs and just about anything that you can imagine. We're gonna make sure you have it there. So we really wanna make sure that you understand that we are a true partner and we're really working hard with you to make things happen the right way. So not only do you get everything that we just talked about, but we have a brand new volume of Secret's top selling agent that we're gonna throw in for free. This thing's hot off the presses. It's been out less than a month, already shooting to the top of the Amazon list. So phenomenal. Habits, mindsets, tactics. In fact, if you sign up for this thing today, I'll get you both volumes, but that's the latest one. You'll definitely get that. We'll also get you signed up for the ultimate guide to Facebook, to real estate Facebook ads. This is an online class that we put together that's going to constantly be evolving, but we'll get you engaged in that so you can go in and learn those on your own time and in your own pace. And then we'll also give you the step-by-step guide. This is an 18-page juggernaut of information that you can go in and lots of resources on how to put together your posting calendar, what kind of resources to go after for content, things like that. That entire package, everything is only $399.95 a month. There's a setup fee of $200 typically. This says $100. You guys are HomeSmart. We're going to waive that. All right. If you're interested in that or getting anything else set up, or you want some additional information, you want me or somebody, one of our social specialists, to spend some time going over your own situation, answer some questions, text the word social to 484848. We will get on it. We will get that time scheduled, or we'll get you signed up for the program, whatever it is that you're after at that point. All right. So the next thing is inbound. This is step 4. You got to get your inbound right. Now, I put this last because it's the most expensive. It's usually the last step that you have to take because if you're doing social on your website, you're actually already incorporating some of the inbound, but we're going to talk about it a little more in depth, and we are really going to fly through this. I do want to ask, does anybody know, give me names. If you know any of the people I just put on the screen, just type in one of the names if you know them. Do you know any of these guys on the left-hand side of the screen that I just put up there? Anybody? Okay, yes, Chef Ramsay, we got somebody. Emerald, yes, yes. Ramsay, everybody knows Emerald and Ramsay. Well, not Dave Ramsay, but I appreciate that. I can't cook, but yes. So everybody, for some reason, forgets Wolfgang Puck, and I'm not sure why that is, right? But Wolfgang's the third. So the thing these guys have in common, I think we all know, right? They are top chefs in the world. These guys got together, they decided, we're going to open a restaurant. This is going to be 10 stories tall. Every floor is going to be like 4 football fields in size. And we're going to offer every kind of cuisine from the world. And we're going to have us and another the top 10 chefs in the world at any given time. You're going to be able to come to this restaurant anytime you want. There'll never be a wait. You can have any kind of food you want from anywhere in the world, and nothing will ever cost more than $10. I would love to go to that restaurant. Wouldn't you love to go to that restaurant? Todd, would you love to go to that restaurant?
I would. That's a great idea, actually.
I know, right? If they ever do it, I'm making money, right?
Right.
All right. The problem is they decided, and this is where I get off the boat. They decided they're going to build it here, the middle of the desert. No roads, nobody's going to know it's there. Nobody's going to be able to get there. That is a website. No matter how good it is, that's a website without SEO. SEO creates the roadmap opportunities and makes people be able to get to your website. No matter how awesome it might be, if they can't find it, it's not going to do any good. And that's where search engine optimization comes in. And the key here is getting to the search engine results page and doing it in a way that makes sense. There are 3 ways to get there. You can pay your way there through Google AdWords. You can also get there through local listings, which is the maps. We've already kind of covered that, right? And then there's a third way, which is organic. In fact, if you can manage to show up on the maps in the organic, you are going to actually elevate yourself in a way that will drive so much traffic to your website, you won't be able to keep up. Everybody that's done this, everybody that's done it well and has gotten to that page one has gotten so busy they can't keep up with it. They're giving away leads. So from their own website. So that'll give you some idea of the power of this. 84% of searchers skip the advertisers. They go to the 2 organic sections. And this number in real estate is actually over 90%. That's an overall standard, 90% on the real estate side. So when you're doing those AdWords things, you're competing for like somewhere in the neighborhood of 7% of the clicks that are happening on this page. The other 93% are happening organically through maps and the.
I'm gonna, everybody type that in the chat. When you do a Google search, do you skip past those ads and go to the authentic organic searches? Because I do.
Yeah,
I do, because I want the authentic, I've skipped on the ads so many times and it takes me to what I don't want. All right. Yep. I skipped the ads.
Yeah, everybody skipped.
All right.
So yeah, you're no different, right? Everybody does this. So you realize how important the maps are. And we could take that even a step further, Todd, and ask how many people have looked for a restaurant in their market and actually decided on one from the maps.
Actually, I used to go to Google, or I would, to search for the phone number for the pizza place or the restaurant or whatever. I search maps now.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
I just, and that's, if I want to call somebody, anybody, a hardware store, whatever it is, I do map search.
Yep. Yeah, that's the way it's going. And that's where that Google My Business comes in. It's such a big deal. All right. So what is SEO? Search engine optimization. The proper definition, it's the work that goes into your website to get you on the first page of Google, right? Gets you right there. That's what it is. But
Right.
Let's try to understand this a little better. Somebody type in for me. Type in if you know who that is. That
Pac-Man.
Pac-Man. Yeah. So just imagine Google as Pac-Man. And Pac-Man, right, constantly eating, right? And those dots. And those dots are bits of data. Even with Pac-Man, they're bits of data. So the data for Google is metadata, on-site content, social media stuff that's happening, the blogging, the backlinks, the article submission, all this stuff that has to happen. And that food has to constantly be fed to them. If you don't, and you stop eating, Google dies on the vine, right? I'm too young. Oh, thanks, Kristen. I appreciate that. So Google, look at this as Google food. And if you look at the diet and how it has to be made up, SEO is made up 30% of on-site content, 70% of off-site content. A lot of people have done some of the on-site stuff, but almost nobody does the off-site stuff. And that's typically where you've really got to get a partner to work with you. But the other thing I have to point out is even though the on-site stuff is only 30% of the overall quality score, if it's not there, Google will never get to see the off-site stuff. So it's more critical. So it has to be there, even though it's a smaller part. So how does it work? What does it actually do? Well, Google uses 2 things to determine whether or not you should be on that first page. Are you relevant, and can they trust you, right? Relevance is all about the content, the code, all of that thing, all that stuff that's happening on your website. Is it all matching? Does the website work the way it's supposed to? Do the robots do their job? Does the content and the code have the right mix of, there's just a ton of gobbledygook that makes my brain start to melt when I start thinking about all of it. But that's that relevance. Is the site something that is relevant to the search? Then trust. And we deal with this all the time because we love referrals, right? So if a referral comes in, our ability to close that referral or turn that referral into a client goes through the roof. And Google's the same way. They want to know that other websites trust you, that other websites will refer to your site, right? Are they pointing to you the right way? So are there blogs, are there article submissions, directories and profiles? Are there things being done in other websites that they already trust that are saying, yes, you can trust this because we're pointing to it as well? They take these 2 things, put them together, right? The relevance, which is 30% of the score, but it's critical, and the trust, which is 70% of the score, and comes after relevance. And they create a single score, and then they compare your score to all the other ones that are out there. And if you've got the best score, you're at the top of the list. And where you rank is all based on that score. So what are some things that you can do, right? That you could take home tonight and you could start making this happen and start improving your capability to show up in these search results? Well, you could create a website of your own. I mean, you got to have a website if you're going to show up in SEO. And what I mean by your own is that it's got to be a standalone. Typically, the ones that sit as part of an offering from your broker tend to not rank well, and you can't get in and do the SEO on them. Claim your Google My Business profile. We've heard this already today. Improve your title tags and meta descriptions. I can't go into the details on that, but if you start Googling those things, you'll learn what they are. Find and claim all business listings and optimize them. That's what that tool is that I told you about that you get as part of our social media package. Train and maintain, or track and maintain your online reputation using that same tool, and then create a strong, healthy social media presence. Those are the things that you can do right now. Start making a difference for yourself. And then what you're going to need to do at some point, if you're going to do this properly, is you're going to have to find a partner. We're a great partner as far as I'm concerned. Of course, you expect me to say that, but we've been in the real estate marketing business since 1978. We know real estate like the back of our hand, and we know SEO like the back of our hand because it's our primary way that we get and generate leads on our website. So we know how to do it. We know how to get there. And I challenge everybody to do a search anywhere in the country and homes.com doesn't come up. All right. On page one, we know how to make that happen. So what does our work encompass? Well, it is very high quality work. We make sure that it's done right and it's got that skew and that to real estate. We give full transparency. So we have 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. You get to see everything that's being done, everything that's been done, and everything that's going to be done with hot links to all of those things. So you actually get to see them in real situations. All right. We offer the full servicing of on-site and off-site work. It's continuous, never ending. And like I said, you get to see that 24 hours a day, 7 days a week with a dashboard that's given to you. And we also make sure that your Google Analytics is set up so that you can double check us, right? Let's put a check and balance in and make sure that everything that we're telling you is above board. And you'll find out it is. But there's nothing wrong with having a secondary backup to see and watch and monitor what's going on. So what is our campaign path? Well, we start with an audit and a keyword selection. And we work with you on those to make sure that they make sense. Then we start the on-site optimization. Once that's complete, we start working on the offsite optimization. That starts to create increased rankings. That usually starts happening in a short period of time. Page one doesn't happen overnight. If somebody comes to you and says, I can get you in page 1 in 2 months, just wave goodbye. The increased rankings is going to improve your traffic, and more traffic to your website is going to make more sales. And what's nice about this is like a snowball going down a hill. The more of this happens, the more website traffic you get, the more time they spend there, the more pages they see there, and the higher you rank on Google, it all just snowballs and keeps going. It's the one thing that you can do in advertising and marketing that continues to grow on its own. What are some of the things that we look at in the preliminary audit? This is not a complete list, but this is some of it. I'm not going to go over the whole thing, but a couple of these, we do go over the metadata on all of this. We go over headers. We do make sure your robots and some of the stuff you probably have no idea what it is. Well, there's a lot to learn, which is why most agents don't get into this. There's just way too much to deal with, and you need to find a trusted partner to work on this. Our timeline and the way that whole thing gets put together is that first month to month and a half. We're working on that relevance. We're starting to build that trust, that offsite stuff. 2 to 4 months, you should start seeing your ranking. We're going from page 50 to page 20 to page 15. Right? That's how that should happen. And it's 6 months or more, somewhere between 6 and 12 months, you'll start ranking on page 1. And if it's earlier in that time frame, by the end of the 6 months, you'll probably be near the top, if not at the top of that. In fact, we know that 86% of our clients actually reach page 1 in the 6-month period, which is why we only do 6-month campaigns. We do it. You sign up with us in 6-month increments. So we are highly motivated to get it done and get it done right. One of the things we want to offer you guys today, and it's another thing you can do when you type to 484848, you type the word social to that, is we will do a free website analysis for you. This is a 22 to 28 page, just everything about your digital presence, your website, what you're ranking for, what you should go after, all of that. It's available to you guys. You can also go to the website and just let us know that that's what you're interested in. The other offer that we want to give you guys is that, and if you do this, I'll even show you, what does SEO cost me, right? We charge typically $50 an hour. If you were a part of this and you're part of HomeSmart, you actually will get 20% off that. We charge $40 an hour for you guys. And to show you where that comes in, if I go in and look at what typically people are going to have, what you should expect to pay. One of these is, I forget what the actual name of this is, but yeah, how much does good SEO cost? This was done in January. There are different models, but you could just pay somebody $500 to $1,000, $5,000 a month, and then pay on top of that additional work. That's just a retainer. There's hourly models that go $100 to $300 a month. When you Google how much does this cost, This is the kind of stuff that you're going to see pretty regularly. So we know we're very competitively put together as far as pricing goes. And on top of that, we're going to give you another 20% off. So I want you to know firsthand how we come in with that. So to try to wrap this up, and I know we are right up against it here. The bottom line is Homes.com is a partner, is the only one that I know of that's been doing real estate and only real estate since 1978, 42 years, and can actually work with you in every part of that Celtic circle, can help you with every single piece of this and have the different parts to help you grow into it. SEO is not a cheap thing. So a lot of times it may be one of the last things people get into, which is fine. But this is that time that I caution everybody about, because I know what happens is that a lot of people will leave a webinar like this and they're very excited and they're like, yes, I can't wait to get going. I'm going to get started. I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. And then a couple of days later, I find out that we go home and we should all over ourselves. Let me show what that word was. We should all over ourselves. All right. And basically what that means is we get 2 weeks down the road because other things got in the way and we kept pushing our business behind. We had showings to do. We had something to do with the kids. COVID is just wreaking havoc. I know that happens. Don't be in that position. There are things that you can do, commitments you can make. Todd mentioned, commit 15 minutes, commit a half an hour, or decide on a partner, right? Find a partner to help you with this. And this is where we put together a couple of amazing packages that just for you guys for being on this. And this can include website. They will include website, social media, the social field product I told you about, an SEO package. And when you put it together, you see the savings here. The market, the small, medium, and large are about market sizes. And we also incorporate how competitive your area is. I'm going to tell you that most of you are going to be able to do everything that we've got in the small, the 20 hours a week. Probably the majority of you are going to be in that situation. But this savings of over $200 a month, plus the savings on the setup fee, you're looking at saving over $1,800 by getting these all put together and being able to completely engulf all of the stuff in that circle. So if you're interested in this, again, you can reach out to us with the social, typing social to 484848 or the 866 number, or going to the website. Take advantage of these savings, do something, get moving on it, right? Just amazing what you can do. Also want to remind you, anytime, if you buy anything from us at this point in time, any purchase of $50 or more, we'll throw in the Secrets of Top Selling Agents, that newest version of it. So you can also, if you're not going to do anything with us, you can go get it on Amazon. It's inexpensive, but it'll be well worth everything. So I'm done. Again, social to 484848 or the 866 number or the website you had earlier, multiple ways to get a hold of us. Todd, I want to thank you. I'll send it back to you. And thanks to everybody for coming. I hope you got something out of this, and hopefully I get to talk to some of you about your own personal situations and answer some more questions that way. Thank you so much.
No, thank you, Steve. That was awesome.